Hey everybody, it's Debbie O'Neill of Scrap Me Quick Designs, and I have been getting a lot of requests to show you how to change your blade on your Cricut Explore machine, and also what's the difference between the different blades and which housing do you need to have and all of that good stuff. So this video is going to cover all of those topics. So let's get started. First of all, there are different blades for the Cricut Explore and different housing for the Cricut Explore, okay, than the former Cricut machines. One of the things that you need to know is that there is the German carbide blade, which is in a package like this, and it says German Carbide Premium Blade on it, okay? And there's one blade in it, and it has a red cap. This is the one that comes with your Cricut Explore machine, and when you go to replace your blade, this is probably the best one for you to have to be able to replace your blade with, because Cricut is telling us that they have calibrated the Cricut Explore machine to work best with this particular blade. So that's one other consideration. Plus, the blade is supposed to last longer. It's made out of a different material. It has a different tip to it that's better for cutting compared to the other blade. So that's why the German carbide blade really is a better blade for you to use as a replacement blade for your Cricut Explore. So let me show you how would you replace that blade. You'll take it out, and this end of it is not sharp, okay? That is the part that's going to go into your blade housing. And this part that has the red cap on it is where the blade is, okay? So let me see if I can hold this. Okay, so there's the blade, and this is where where it was. I had someone the other day, she kept trying to put this as the blade and couldn't get this red tip into her housing till I figured out that she hadn't taken the red tip off. We were doing this on messaging in the Facebook group. So you'll take that red tip off, okay? And then you want to take your housing out of your machine. So you're going to flip open the B panel and you're going to open up and get your housing out. Okay, so that was really super simple. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to hold down the top of this and the blade comes out. Now, you want to be really careful because that blade may still be sharp, and so I'm going to take out the blade. I just pulled it out. All right, I'm going to set this off to the side so I know that that's the one that I took out. While I have this out, sorry about that, while I have this out, I always want to make sure that I wipe it off. I'm go ahead and clean this off because it gets little particles of paper dust or glitter or whatever it is you've been cutting with it. All right, so I've cleaned that off. And now I'm going to insert my new blade. So to insert the blade, you're going to hold the blade housing top down. See, I've pressed it all the way down. I'm going to put the blade goes sticking out, and that kind of rounded blunt end goes into the blade. So I'm just going to do this and then just release the top. And now my blade has been installed. Okay, now I'll put it back into my housing and we'll close the housing, the B bracket. All right, so that's how you would replace your blade, and I replaced it with the German carbide blade. Now let's talk about the difference between the blades. Okay, so here was the one I replaced, okay, and here is, these are the regular Cricut, they just say replacement blades on them. You see these at the craft stores. You'll also find the German carbide blades at the craft stores too, but they look little different, okay? I had someone the other day who was upset because she bought these thinking that they were the German carbide blades. If it doesn't say German carbide blade on it, it is not the German carbide premium blade, okay? That also only comes with one blade because this has twice the life of a regular blade, typically. So that's the difference between the packaging. Okay, the regular replacement blades can be used in the Cricut Explorer. It's just that they're not optimized for the machine. Plus, they have a completely different cutting angle, and they so in a pinch, if you didn't have a German carbide replacement, you could use one of these. It will fit in your housing, but the blade may not last as long. But if you've got a stash of these already, you know, you can use them. But I'm going to see if I can show you guys. You may not be able to tell it good enough. Okay, can you see that? My left hand has the German carbide blade in it, and my right hand has the regular Cricut blade, okay? The German carbide blade, and you're just probably not going to be able to see that in the video. The German carbide blade, though, has a completely different angle on it. You probably can tell that. Okay, I'm trying to turn it so you guys can see it. It has a completely different angle, and it has more of a beveled edge to it than the regular Cricut blade. So the regular Cricut blade is here in my right hand, and it has, see how it has more of an angled blade to it. The German carbide blade has less of an angle, plus it's beveled on the edge of it. If you look at it, you can see the difference. Okay, so I think that the German carbide blade really does cut better because of the angle. The regular blades, because of the way the pressure's set in the Cricut Explorer machine, I know some people were having issues with their paper tearing and some other things going on. It may be that if you replaced it with one of the regular Cricut blades, it may be part of the issue you're having. So that's the difference in the actual two blades and why you would probably prefer to have the German carbide blade, because it's optimized to go into your Cricut Explorer machine and work better because of how they have the pressure settings preset. All right, and I'm going to put this back in here. Okay, now the other question I get is about the deep cut blades. Okay. People were asking, can I use the old Cricut deep cut blade that I already had if I had a Cricut Explorer or, I mean, a Cricut Expression or whatever? As you can see, the two blade housings are completely different. They're a different style. They have a different body shape. This one will not fit in the Cricut Explorer machine. Okay, so if you had one of these, sorry, you can't use it in the Explorer. What you can use, though, is this is the deep cut blade housing for the Cricut Explorer, and it is black. Okay, I know on Cricut.com right now they're on sale for like $18, which is a good deal. So it is similar to the blade housing that comes in your Explorer. Okay, let me lay it down. It's easier to see it that way. All right. The blade for this is a longer blade, and it has a different angle on it. Okay, so if I try to show that, it is a deeper blade, so it goes down further into your material, and it's great for using to cut chipboard with, or the fun foam, or magnets, or stamp material, or the stiffened felt, or any of those thicker materials. You would want to use the deep cut housing blade. Now, Cricut does make a deep cut housing blade that is a replacement for this, but it does not say the Cricut Explorer. It does say it is the deep cut housing blade, and you can use that blade in either of these. They're the same blade. They did not make a German carbide deep cut housing blade. All right, so a lot of people were asking that. Why can't I find a deep cut housing blade replacement for the Cricut Explorer? They do not make one. That's the German carbide. They have instructed me that you just use the regular deep cut housing blade to replace this one in your Cricut Explorer deep cut housing. And um, those have a blue cap on them. I do not have a replacement in my stash right now, but I'm going to order them because they're on sale at Cricut.com at the moment. But anyway, so this one, if you want to replace this and you're going to cut material, all you have to do is open that B flap, take this out, stick that one in, and close the B flap again, and you're good to go for when you're going to be using your to cut deeper materials. The deep cut blade will cut anything that is 1.55 millimeters in thickness, and so if you're cutting thicker material, then you definitely need to have the deep cut blade. So I'm going to go ahead and replace and then when I'm through cutting anything that's deeper, I'm just going to replace my regular blade in there and I'm good to go. So that is as simple as it gets, and a little bit difference about the different housing and why you would use one over the other. The last thing I wanted to show you was, you have your tool storage, okay? Your other container here is for you to store your deep cut blade in here when you're not using it. Also, there is a little slots here with a little magnet that goes there. That is so you can store your extra blades there. Okay, and the magnet holds the metal part on. So if you want to go ahead and open your packages for your blades and store your blades actually on your machine so you always have one with you, that is another good thing to do. And then this piece actually is a replacement piece that Cricut sells for your accessory housing. Okay, so this is the Cricut accessory housing for using your pins or your score tool. All right, I happen to go ahead and buy an extra one just in case it breaks so that I have one. If you'll notice, this is flexible. I'm going to try to squeeze it. Okay, see how this is flexible? That is why when you go to put your pin in, your pin goes here and it's going to come. Let me grab a pen. Okay, so this is the blade housing for, not the blade housing, and this is the accessory for when you put your pins in. So when you go to push this down, I wanted to show you because you can't see underneath the machine. When you go to push this down to get that click so it goes in, it's actually expanding this part of the housing for this. So some of you have been trying to shove pins that are bigger than they are supposed to be to fit in the Cricut Explorer machine into this housing, and you are getting your this part of the housing broken. Okay, Cricut sells these. They're like $1. I think they're $1.19. Super cheap. If I'm in the middle of a project, I want to make sure that I have a spare one of these. Because I would hate to be writing and then for whatever reason this breaks. I can just pop this. This easily pops out. You just have to hold this down and pull it up, and then stick this one back in. But that is what people were having trouble with, is that this part was breaking. But you can see it's made to be flexible so that you can shove the pin down into it, and then when you pop it, that's that click that you hear, that you know that your pin's in. I'm doing a separate video on all the different pins that you can use in the Cricut Explorer, so stay tuned for that. I'm working on that next. And but that's about the difference between the blades and changing out your housing and changing out your blades, and also how to use the accessory tool and your little storage area here and what that is for. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know. I love to make videos, so let me know if there's anything else you guys want me to make you a quick video on. And if you are not a member of our Let's Learn Cricut Explorer Facebook group, please come join us over there. We would love to have you. And if you want to follow me, I have a blog, for Cricut Explorer called Scrap Me Quick Designs. And of course, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already a YouTube follower so that you don't miss any of my videos. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope to see you in the Let's Learn Cricut Explorer Facebook group. Bye.